Okay, so what I'll do is I'll execute each line so that I get all the variables properly and the packages are included. So let me press this one, no error. Okay, what's happened here? Is this a warning or it's an error? Okay, it's just a warning. So I'll just run this. So no issues till now. Okay, so the last code, I think this was summarize add function, summarize function, which we had used. And then we saw this group by summarize, and we combined this together using the infix operator or the pipe operator as it is called. Okay, and the last example which we took was, of course, using the multiple functions filter, group by, and we introduced the do function. Okay, so you can see this one, we had used do here, and we had sliced three. That means we got the three records here. Okay, so if you look at the function, or you can see, look at a T here, you have three records and the value for because it has been filtered. And if you look at this group by function, it has been grouped by index. Okay. And one more thing you'll observe here is we are arranging in descending order. Okay, so we have this descending. Let us continue from here. The next thing which we would like to do is let us look at some combination of say let us do summarize and group by and sort together. Okay, and we'll also use this mutate function because we have already used mutate function. I won't focus much there, but definitely I'll take one example on that. Okay, so before we move ahead, let us do one thing. Let us say we have to compute a mean of the variables here for the year 2014, okay, and 2015 by index variable, and then sort it uh, in sort the results. You can say whatever values we are getting. Sort the result by calculating the mean variable for the year 2015. Okay, so we'll have some combinations here. So we'll be using group by, we'll use summarize as well. Okay, and we'll arrange it in descending order as well, as per the mean which we are going to calculate for the year 2015. Okay, so it's a combination of all of them. So I'll just write it down. We'll write T again. We'll use T equal to my data. Okay, this I'm going to pipe it or pass it on to the next function here. Okay, in this we will group it by index. So I have to use group by function. Group by into bracket. Simply give the name of the column or the variable, you can say here, index. Again, pipe it further. I'll put it on the new line now. Okay, I'll use summarize. So summarize into bracket. Now, while summarizing, I want to calculate the mean, let us say for the year 2014. Okay, and I also want to calculate the mean for 2015. Okay, and that we'll do later. So the first thing which I want to do is in this summarize, the first calculation would be mean for, I give a name, so I give mean and the year, so 2014. Okay, I'll be calculating two means here, equal to the function mean into round bracket, the variable on which I want to calculate the mean. Okay, it is y 2014, comma, and I want to drop all the any values from this, even though I don't have any values, but still we will write this. So any dot rm equal to true. That is how we write it. Okay. Then put a comma. Then the next mean which I want to calculate is for the year 2015. So I'll give a name here, mean underscore 2015 equal to, again I repeat this mean function, but this time the variable will be for 2015 and the same parameter na dot rm equal to true. Okay, this will calculate the mean for me. Now this I'll further pass it. So because I want to now arrange it in descending order. So I'll use the function arrange, which we also saw previously. You can see in this do function here in the round bracket, we had got arrange here. So I'll use arrange here, okay, into round brackets. We are supposed to arrange it by, say, let us say the mean which we have calculated 2015. So I'll give mean underscore 2015. Okay. Now this I want in descending order. So if I want in descending order, I can give DESC and I'll put the round brackets. So one more round bracket remain. Okay. I hope things are done. Fine. So let us run this and check whether we get the output.
Sir,
Yeah. Tell me any question.
uh, in previous line, you write nar.rm. So is
Oh,
that
sorry.
right, sir?
No, this is wrong. It's a typing mistake. Any, it is any.
Okay.
I'll run this. Thanks for that. Okay, so what we had done here, we had calculated the mean for this variable and we have ignored. So what is going to happen? Now, even though in my data set, I don't have any values, okay, but because we have given this, if by chance there are any values, it is going to drop and then calculate the mean of that particular variable of that column. Okay, that is how it works. Now I've got 19 observation and 3 variables. Let us see what the contents are. Now here you can see we have got the indexes, mean, the two mean values which we have calculated for 14 and for 15 as well. Okay, and this has been arranged in the order for mean 2015. So because we have given the arrange in descending order, mean underscore 2015. Okay, I think we'll run this again once again so that let me check it again. Right. Okay, so this is a descending order. If you look at these values, so 17, I think 17 lakhs 29,273 is coming first, and then we have the lesser values. Clear? So simple use of multiple functions together using your the pipe operator, okay, which helps in doing multiple things in one command. Okay, that is the use of your pipe command. So instead of doing some function and storing in some variable and then using it as a parameter for the other functions, what you can do is make use of the pipe function. Okay. Now, the other function which we have already seen before is the mutate function, and it is used to create new variables, which we have seen before also. So I just quickly create one, let us say my data one. Let us create this. I hope I don't have my data one. Okay, I have my data and then directly two. So I'll create one variable my data one. It's a data frame. Okay, and I'll use the mutate function to create a very simple, you can say, variable, which will be, let us say, I'll name this as a variable called change, and I'll calculate the division between the year 2015 and 2014. Okay, so I'll write the year 2015 divided by 2015. That is going to give me the change between the 2 years. Okay, so let me introduce one variable here called change. Okay, and that will help me create a new, you can say, a column for my database. So my data frame here is in, I'm going to use my data, then give a comma, give the new name of the variable which you want to introduce as a column in your data frame. So I'm going to give this name as change. Okay, and some calculation has to be given here. Now, in my case, I'll be giving 2015 divided by 2014. That'll give me the change between the 2 years. From 2015, what was the change in 2015? So this is by 2014. Okay, so it will perform some calculations and add this column to my data frame. So I'll run this, and here we have this. Let me open this up, and at the end, you can see this change has been added. Okay, and it's a calculation which is performed between using these two variables, 2015 and 2014 data. Okay, and I get this change. Clear? Like this, you can make use of the mutate function to add variables or new columns to your data frame. Okay, I won't go further into mutate. If you want me to give another example, I can, if you want to, or else we can move ahead. Okay, mutate, I think we have used before also. Okay. Well, let us take one more example. Let us do one thing. We'll create a rank variable. Let us create a rank variable. So I will rank it depending on some year, okay. And that ranking will be from 1 to 3, from smallest value to the highest value. That is what we will try to do here. So let us create one more data frame, my data, and let us give 12 equal to, again, mutate. Now, when I'm giving this time, instead of using, if I want to create a, you know, a variable, a column, okay, which is having some calculations here, let us make use of mutate at. Okay, so instead of using mutate, we're going to use mutate at. Okay, and from here, I'll in this first parameter is of course your data frame. Okay, my data, and I'm going to work on some, let us say, ranking. Let us use multiple columns here. So all the variables which are say using as, let us say y200 from 8 on to, I hope we have 8. I think it is from 2002 only, so no problem. So from 2008 onwards, let us say up to 2010. Okay, so I want to use all this and I want to perform ranking of this. So I'll give a comma. I'll add a say column called rank, and I need to do some calculation to find the ranking as well. So there's a function called min underscore rank. Okay, that is what I'll be using here. So for this, I need to use a list. So I'll give list into round bracket. Here comes my variable or the column which I want to add. So I'll give rank equal to, okay, and because it is, we have to give a tilde sign. Okay, tilde sign is used for anonymous functions. Okay, so that we need not give the exact name of the function. I can give min underscore rank. This is the function which is going to help me calculate the ranking. Okay, so min dot rank, and to give the value of x, if you remember last time we had given a dot, so I'll give a dot here. Okay, so let me run this one, and all this dot is going to actually is going to represent the values which we are given here. Okay? So based on these values from this column 2008, 2009, and 2010, okay, it's going to calculate the ranking. Okay, so if I run this and let us check out whether we have got. Okay, so here we can see for 2008, 9, and 10, it's calculating the ranking for me. And this 48, 47, then the rank for this particular city or the state, you can see, changed from 48 to 47. And finally, in 2010, it was ranked 8. Okay, so we can just make a judgment. Now, if you remember, as I said, when I say min underscore rank, the minimum value will be ranked 1. Okay, so this indicates that it is slipping down. Okay, the values are slipping down, and not it's increasing the ranking. If I want the other way around, if I want the highest value to be ranked 1, okay, and the lowest value is the last one, then what I can do is I can just change this to descending. So instead of giving only dot here, what I'll do is I'll give DESC into round brackets. I'll give the dot. Okay, so there's one more round bracket that I need to give. I hope all the round brackets are over. One more. Fine. So what I've made only one small change, okay, because the ranking was happening the opposite way. The minimum value was getting the highest rank, the first rank. I don't want that. I want the highest, salary here, the annual salary as the topmost ranking. So I've given descending, and I've given a dot in there. Let us now check the outcome. So here you will see for the first one when we will check. Okay, so here you can see initially the rank was 5th, then it became 6th, and now in 2010 it became 45. Okay, so it is reducing. Right? So we can add the column as well using the mutate at function here. So we have used mutate at. Okay, and remember when we are going to make use of mutate and mutate at, okay, a simple calculation here, we have multiple variables which I want to pass to a function. We are using a function here, okay, and all those functions are given in a list. Okay, so we use a list, and inside this we pass the functions. Okay, this list example we have taken on top as well. Here you can see here there were three functions which we had used: the number of records, mean, and median. Okay, in the function summarize underscore add. Okay, so we have used this before as well. So that's all about the mutate and mutate all function. This two example which we took. Okay, now let us go ahead and see some joins. You know, there are multiple types of joins which you might have heard of before also. Like you have this inner join, left join, right join, the full join. Okay, so these there are some functions which are available in R programming as well, using which we can join multiple data frames. Okay, or data set you can call it to be or table, because data sets can be a data frame and a table as well. Okay, so I'll use the word data set. Okay, so let us say if you have some common rows, like for example, if there are two tables or two data frames, and I want to get the common rows between from both of them. Okay, so we will be using the inner join to get the values. So to do this, let us do one thing. We'll create two data frames first. So let me create one a df1 equal to data dot frame. Okay, and here I'll use I need a primary key here. So for primary key, I'll make use of a variable, let's say ID. Okay, and let us create some, I'll give some numbers here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let us have some 5 records. Okay, now ID is the first column. Let us give some random, I'll give name. I can give equal to, and again C into bracket. Now why this is capital? This is not capital, it's small. Okay, I'll give some random characters. I'll give A, B, C, D. That is not. So I'll give A, B, then C, D, and E. Okay, so I just want a simple example. E. Okay, give a comma. Okay, so I have ID, I have got name, and let us have some values. Let us give some, say X. I'll give X equal to say, C into bracket. Let us give some random values. So 1, 1, comma, 0, comma, 0, comma, 1. 5 values I needed. Okay, I can give some letters as well. Okay, so or I can give say Y equal to. Let us use R norm or normalization. I need to create 5 values. Okay, and the by default the mean will be 0 and the standard deviation will be 1. Okay, so it is going to create some random numbers here. Okay, I think that's enough for the first data frame. Let us create another one. So I'll just copy this one and create another with the name df2. Okay, data frame 2, and I'll just make some few changes in my records. So for the second one, let us have 1 as one of the records. I delete the others. So 1, let us put the 7, then I'll put comma 3, some common ones, and 8. So there are 2 common records so that I can do some union and all. Okay, then I'll change the characters as well. Let us give this as this will be B, and let us give this key. Let us keep this as D as well, and this, let me put L. Okay, and the value of X, let us change this to 1. We have, let us put this to 3. Okay, and that's I think enough. And Y norm 5. Okay, I'll also change the names here. Let us give some different name. So N I'll give you, I'll give x1 and y1. Okay, I'll keep only the primary key variable name same. Okay, and the rest of the things are different. So that's it. Let me run the first one. No problem. The second one, no problem. Fine. Now comes the inner join. If suppose like the example here is to return rows when there is a match in both the tables or both the data frames here. Okay, so for this example, I need a primary key by which I want to search for the records in both the tables. Okay, so let us create a df3 equal to, okay, and the function which I'll use is the inner join function. Okay, inner join. It takes the two data frames or the tables in which I want to search. So we have created two, df1 and df2. Okay, and I want to, do the matching or searching using a particular key. Okay, so that key will come in by. So I have to give by equal to what? Okay, so here because I have kept ID as the primary key for, in my case, so I'll give ID here. Okay, so it is capital ID. Okay, so when I give ID as, please see that it is enclosed in double quotes. Okay, so now I can run this one. Okay, and DF3 I can check. You can see here I have got only two records, 1 and 3. Okay, that was the common things which we had kept between both of them. Okay, and I've got the values. And here we can see we have got X, Y, and then this it's combining because only the ID is same. Clear? So inner join usually is used to return, you can say rows from two different tables or data sets, which has a common, you can say primary key or similar primary key, or there's a match between the primary. Now let us assume that the variable name which I have in the data frame 2 is not ID. Instead of that, let's change this to ID1. I'll run this one. So now I have two data frames. One has the column ID as column name as ID, and the other one has ID1. Okay. Can I use inner join here? So what I have to do is when I'm giving df3 equal to inner join and the two data frames, when I give by equal to, here I have to give C into round bracket ID equal to, in double quotes, ID1. Okay, that will be the change which is required when the names of the columns are different. Okay, so when I run this one now, no problem at all, and I get this two records already there. So here you can see these two records are there. Okay, so ID and ID1, we can match it as well. Okay, two different columns. Okay, but they have to be primary. They need not have duplicate values in the records. Okay, it has to be a primary. That is the use of your inner join. Okay, similarly, we have this left join where the syntax remains the same. You can say I'll give left underscore join, and you can see we have x comma y and by what. Okay, so if suppose I want left join, left join means if I want to return all the rows from the left table or the left data set. Okay, even if there are no matches in the right table. Okay, even if there are no matches in the right table. So I want only the values, you can say all the rows from the left table. In that case, I'll be making use of the left join. Okay, so if you remember last time I had, when I was explaining you in Tableau, okay, I had drawn two circles and, the left join will be the first circle, the overall circle along with the intersection. Okay, there's a intersection in the between two sets. Like it was like this. Let me take this. Okay, so when I had this circle here, let us say this is my first data set. Okay, and this is the other one. Okay, now left join is going to return me all the records from this particular table, including the one which is common, including the one which is common. So this one. Okay, So this whole thing will be returned. That is the use of your left join. Similarly, we can also have the right join, which is the opposite. So instead of getting all the records from the first table, it is going to get me all the records, all the rows from the second table. Right? And then we also have intersection. So I won't show you the other function, but let us see intersection. Okay, coming back here. So let us not use this one. Let us say we have some common records, and I want to do display only the records which are common, okay, or unique one between the two sets. Okay. Now for this example, let us use the inbuilt data set which we have, that is your empty cars. Okay. So what I'll do is, let me create one, say empty cars with dollar sign. We have we'll create a column called model. Okay. And I'll give all the row names into empty class. Okay. Run this one. And now I'll create one, say first equal to empty class, and do square bracket. I want the first, let us say the first 20 records. Okay, and I want all the columns, so I just give a comma here and leave it. And run this one. One more I need to create is the second one. So I'll keep second empty class. Again, a square bracket. Let us say this time I'll go from the 10th row till let us say 30th, or let us say 32. Okay, and I want all the columns. Okay, now I have got two, you can see, data frames called first and second. Is that? This is second. Okay, so it has some records here. Okay, we also have first here. Here it is the 10, 20 records. Okay. Now between this, there are some common records and there are some, different records as well. So because we have from row number 1 to 20 in one of the, data frame, which we are getting from empty cars, and from 10 to 32, I have got it in the second one. Okay. Now, if I want to get the intersection of both of them, now there's a function called union. Okay, we'll be making use of union here. Okay, so let us use that. There are two functions basically, union and union all. Okay, I'll show you the difference between both of them. Okay, so let us first of all create this intersect and then union. So I'll give intersect. Here it is, intersect. It's a very simple function. I'll give the first data set and the second one. That's it. Nothing else. Okay, and I get all the records. So basically, which are common records. So you get this other common records between both the data frames. Okay, so I think around 10 records should be there. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11 records are there. Okay, so there are total 11 records which have been returned. Okay, so intersect usually is going to give me only the common records between both of them. Okay, so unique rows, you can say. Unique rows which are in both the data frames. Okay, now coming to union. Now union is going to display all the rows from both the tables and remove the duplicate records. Okay, that is the difference between your intersect and union. Okay, so if I have to give union here, I can just write the function union into round bracket x comma, or not x, sorry, first comma second. Okay, and I run this. Okay, now if you look at this records which we have got, okay, all these records which we have got will not contain the duplicate rows. Okay, you can just give a try. What you can do is, when you are practicing it, okay, assign some data frame here. Let us say df5 or something like that, and assign the union. So we can write here df5 equal to, and you can give a union like this, and you can just cross verify what are the records we have. Okay, so you can run this way as well, and you can check your DF5. Okay, you can do that. Clear. So union, as I said, intersect will give me the unique or the common records in both the tables, and union is going to ignore this common, remove them, and display all the rows. Display all the rows. Okay, except the ones which are duplicate. Okay, that is the difference. Now, by using the other function, that is union underscore all function, it allows the duplicate rows in the combined, you can see, data set. So if I want the duplicate records as well, okay, then I have to give union underscore all. Okay, that is the difference between your union and your union all. Okay, so you can try that as well. So instead of using union, if I use union underscore all, okay, the only difference, what is going to happen is the duplicate records are not going to be repeated. It will be, passed on only once. Right? So I'll get all the records which are there in both the, you can say, data frame, and the duplicate records will be only kept once. That is the difference. Okay, we have less than 1 minute left here, so I'll stop the meeting and we'll come back and we'll see some more functions. And I think we will move on to the other package as well. Okay, so I'll just stop the meeting right now and we'll start again. Please join again, everyone.